internet.
Welcome to the Intoxicated Podcast, a weekly comedy talk show that dives into the personal lives of comedians, experts, and creators. I'm your host, Sarah McClellan, a very amateur stand-up comedian and self-proclaimed sad girl. It's the comedy podcast with a lot of heart. Feel hard and talk hard. This is
The Intoxicated Podcast.
You know, we really just get right to it here in this podcast.
Going deep.
I love this, though. This is going to be a fucking good one. Woohoo! Okay, we're back, everybody. Oof.
Woohoo! So much for not getting loud. Yeah, all right.
I just love the Song 2 by Blur.
Yes.
It's a great song.
Oh, Blur.
We're back on the Intoxicated Podcast, and I am
Large and in charge.
so excited for this episode. This week's guest is a comedian, videographer, tech expert, amazing friend, probably better than any of you for reasons we'll find out about. We'll find out. Richard Allen.
Hello. Nice to be here, finally, by myself.
Welcome, buddy.
Thank you. I'm happy I could make it.
Richard, you've been like behind the scenes with Intoxicated a lot. Like, you've been in the eye of the storm, but never like on the boat. Whoa, bitch! Bitch, that's a good metaphor.
That was a very solid metaphor, Sarah. You write that one down.
Listen, I'm getting quick.
Professional quote maker over here.
Listen, comedy makes me quicker for some reason, which is
Definitely
weird
does,
because
right?
I feel brain dead most of the time.
I know, I feel the same way too. And I don't really consider myself to be somebody that's like super quick on their feet, which is why I don't really do crowd work, stuff like that.
Fuck crowd work.
But I've definitely, once you spend enough time around this, regardless of whether or not you're inclined to do that sort of stuff, like you get sharper with
You get sharper.
grabbing stuff fast.
And hanging out with comics forces you to get sharper.
Absolutely. Yeah, you gotta bring your A game.
Because if you don't keep up, you will
Like fucking Martin.
you will be devoured.
I love Martin Edwards as a comic, but the last couple of times I've been going to Gus's and hanging out with him afterwards, and we'll all have a few drinks, and Martin gets a few drinks in, and he turns into this like craftsman of a storyteller. Well, he'll do this like ridiculously long setup that you're just like, why the fuck are you still talking about this, Martin? And then he'll just drop an ending on it that brings the whole table down laughing.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. But like that's not what he does on stage.
Which is interesting. Well, yeah. Storytelling comics, I envy them.
Oh yeah.
I really envy them because I could never. I've tried to do longer bits, and I'm just like, I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet to a point where I could get the audience to trust me all the way through.
Yeah, it's a learned skill.
Fuck yeah, it is. It's hard.
It takes a long time. I mean, even Travis. Just a quick shout out to Travis Lindsay. Just finished mixing his new CD coming out very soon called "Killed at the Funeral." It's wonderful. I've listened to that thing dozens of times now while working.
You edited it.
And mixed it and recorded it.
Mixed it and helped him with the setup and
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Travis, excellent storyteller.
I think he
But,
sucks.
Like, it took. Well, I doubt he's going to listen to this anyway, so it's all right if you say that.
The only reason my joke with Travis is like whenever I like have him on the show, I'm just like, yeah, this guy's okay, I guess. Travis,
right.
like I purposely like tell him he's garbage because I think it's funny.
And I mean, I'm sure your regular listeners who are not comics are probably aware by this point. That is how we treat each other in the comedy scene.
That's
a lot of shit
comics
talking.
love
Gotta have a
language.
thick skin.
Yeah.
But Travis, masterful storyteller, it took a long time for him to get to this level. He's been doing it since he was 16. Right? And he wasn't
so young.
I've watched Travis like rocket up, in my time in the scene. And while he's always been inclined to be a storytelling kind of person, he was a lot more joke-based for a long time. And it's only recently that he's finally hit his stride as a storyteller. So, and he's doing a great job of it. So that's just to say it takes work. That's a very specific type of performance. And it's very rare that you'll have somebody that just like naturally can do it immediately off the top.
Well, it's an interesting art form too, because it's not like say if you went to like, I guess you could practice being an actor. I guess you could.
Yeah.
But with comedy, like, you have to practice by doing open mics. That's literally the only way that you're going to get good at it is to just get on that stage as much as you possibly can.
There is no substitute. This is not The Sims. You can't stand in front of a microphone in your living room and get better at doing comedy.
Sarah
my favorite
sighed
career
very
path
loudly. I'm sorry to break it to you, Sarah.
No small coincidence. That is my favorite career path in The Sims 4.
Is it really?
Oh, yeah, it's fun.
I played The Sims. Okay. Well, actually, I'm getting ahead of myself. You're no stranger to podcasts. So, Richard, you were on a Christmas special, I think BV, before video. Did you just come up with that? Sure did. I had to think in my head what the initials were. I don't know if you saw that. You saw me think. I meant to say PV, and then I was like, no, that's not right at all. BV.
Yeah.
This was before I did video, and we were like just sitting around the living room.
How long ago did you start doing video? It's been a while.
Well, the first 2 years, I don't think I did. Or at least the first year and a half, I didn't.
It wasn't until you started doing live streams.
It was, the 15... Was the 15-hour live stream or the 12-hour live stream? You know what? I don't know.
Yeah. Nonetheless, you've been doing video for a while.
Go to the YouTube channel and check out the massive amount of videos I have.
Yeah, I have kind of appeared in the sidelines on this podcast before you were doing video and after.
It's a glow up.
Yeah, there you go. It's my time to shine.
You might have been around when I was using snowball mics.
No.
Oh, you weren't?
I'd remember that. Oh, I fucking hate those things.
Yeah, they're
so
pretty
much.
brutal. Sorry, Corey. I know you still use them.
Hey, look,
placement's everything.
They do a
placement
job.
and how you use them
It's very much about placement.
will go a long way.
Yeah,
You got to get close to those babies.
Exactly.
Nice and
They have,
close.
short range. You got to get nice and close to the mic.
Yeah, you got to talk like that.
Nice and close to the mic.
Nikki Glazer had this thing on her podcast that she brought up. She's like, isn't it funny that like all humans are skeletons, and if we didn't have our skin, we would look like we would just be laughing all the time because of our teeth? Like, look at this guy. Like, see how he is? Like, that's how we look all the time. Isn't that crazy?
It's true.
It's just, it's insane.
And then you'd just be like flesh kind of jiggling around. It'd be weird with no skin.
God, that would be so weird not to have skin.
We're just watery bags and skulls walking around in meat suits. It's the human experience in a nutshell.
We're just bags of meat.
We're just bags, mostly water, but
that is interesting. I mean, Jesus, I don't drink enough water. I'd be shocked if there was anything in there. I dehydrate myself constantly. It's bad.
drink your water, you'll feel a lot better.
It's true. I'm trying to write a joke about this, about how I'm such a cunt sometimes, and I just have a glass of water.
I'm sorry, you just need to have a glass of water. Sprinkle a little lemon in it, maybe a slice of cucumber.
Yeah.
Jazz that water up. Make that water your own, baby.
Yeah. But yeah, so Richard, you were on a Christmas special. You've been here for the live streams. You've also been here for some podcast recordings too. Serena, you were here for that.
Which was a fantastic one. Watch Serena's if you haven't already.
Oh, so good, Serena. But what was like the last podcast you were a guest on?
Well, the last time I did a podcast all by myself was March 17th. 2020. I was a guest appearance on the Boys Club podcast. Shout out to the Boys Club podcast. And it was because lockdown had just started. Andrew couldn't have any guests over to the apartment. So he's like, you want to be on my podcast? I said, yes. And we did the podcast. And then Andrew died in his sleep. That was it. The last time I was on a podcast, the host died that night. Good luck, Sarah. I'm going to be calling you at 8 a.m. tomorrow.
Please, everyone.
Sharp. Maybe 9. I took tomorrow off from work, so I might sleep in.
This is a testament of, number one, how depressed I am right now, but also just like my belief in ghosts. If I fucking die, I'm haunting you, both of you. I don't know why I'd haunt you.
Please haunt me.
But for sure, I'm going to show up and say
Joke's
something
on
like,
you. I
God
don't
damn
believe
it,
in
Richard! I'll just show up, God damn it!
Yeah. Wild times. That was my last podcast. And it was a good one, too. I'm glad we went out with a bang.
You know what's so funny about that podcast? My first tip-off that Andrew had died. Well, actually, it wasn't even really a tip-off that he had died. But that morning, I was working from home that morning. And I remember hearing a buzz over his audio. And like he was just like, I don't know what you're talking about. I was like, I'll screen record it the next time I hear it.
Okay.
And I literally like heard the buzz on your guys' episode. And so I took a screen recording of it and I texted it to him. Here's the buzz. And then I didn't get a response. That was my last text message. My last text message to Andrew was bitching about his podcast quality.
Yep. Hey, that's fair. I've given a lot of thought to how thankful I am that of all the things we ended our last night together, it was good night and not some of the much more offensive things we have yelled to each other at the end of any given evening. Because, boy, there's one local comic in town, and we've joked about this. I won't say who it is, but his last message to Andrew may or may not have included a homophobic slur. And
Fuck, I don't know what that is.
No, I'm just saying, like, you never know what the last thing you say to
Was
somebody
it
is.
said in joking or serious?
Yeah, and it was not, sorry, just for clarification, I'm not saying, it was not some sort of insult. This is a rapport these two people had.
Yeah.
But, like, dude's now got to live with that being the last words he said to a very close person in his life.
The last text
Food for thoughts.
the last text message that Andrew sent me. Still have it in here. I still haven't deleted his messages. How funny is that? Where? Oh, did I? Did I delete it?
Oh, I eventually deleted mine. Couldn't hang on to them anymore.
Oh, really? That's fair.
And for context, for anybody who doesn't know the exact situation that we're talking about,
Yes.
we're talking about Andrew Vaughn. He was a local comic for a long time. Very good one. He was my roommate for 5 years, one of my closest friends. As we've now discussed, woke up and found him dead one day. Mm-hmm. It was fun. I got a great 10-minute story out of it. So, it's what Big Cat would have wanted.
It's really what he would have wanted. I actually think I did delete them, or my phone deleted them. That makes me sad. But I think the last message he sent me was just the letter L, and it was a mistake.
Nice.
L. I have talked about him like so much on this podcast.
Oh, I
if
bet.
you don't know, like, if you don't know him, then you're not listening. You're not a true enough fan.
Yeah. Well, we might get some random, walkthrough.
So you have gotten material out of it. How long
a
did
little
it
bit.
take you to start working on that joke?
I mean, technically, right from the start, because it's not. The thing is, it's not even a joke. There are jokes in it. Obviously, you need punchlines.
It's a story more, yeah.
But like, it is literally just a retelling of the events of that day. So like, that was firmly rooted in my brain from the moment that it happened. Obviously, and I made some embellishments here and there. It's not all 100% factual, but all the really important parts are.
All the bones are.
Yeah, and to actually get inspired to tell it on stage took over a year.
Yeah.
I think no, not quite. I think let's just say a year, ballpark of a year. It was a long time. No way, I absolutely wouldn't. And then I don't remember exactly even what happened. I just sort of felt a little inspired one day, and no, it was after going to. It was just after Yucks reopened in the Seahorse basement.
That's exactly what it was.
Went to check out the opening, and it was my first time out to a comedy show in a long time. The events of him dying had really dissuaded me from getting back into the scene too quick.
Oh, that's fair.
And then I went out. I went to catch Andrew Evans close out or headline Yucks. And I don't know. It was just I was in a good mood when I went. It was a great show. It had been my first time back to a proper stand-up show in a long time. And I was just like, I feel inspired to do this. So went home that night, started writing the shit out. And I think I tried it on stage for the first time a few days after that. Maybe a week.
Damn. What, like, and it's just, like, so crazy to me because I think for, like, a lot of us, like, who are friends with him, like, that was our pandemic. Like, we definitely had a pandemic.
It was a defining point of it.
But it started at, like, it was March 18th, people. So it was days after we were told to stay inside.
Yeah, it was Wednesday. Lockdown started on Monday. This happened on Wednesday.
So for a lot of us, like, we were going through
That
what
was
the
the
fuck is
kickoff
happening
to
with
the
the
whole
world.
thing.
Yeah, what's happening with the world? Oh, also we just lost our friend who we didn't expect to die. Although, given his health, weren't surprised he died.
Oh, no. Everybody knew he was going to die. I mean, the dude was like morbidly obese his entire life, and by the end was smoking a pack a day and like crushing Well, he had switched from drinking a 12-pack of beer multiple times a week to vodka sodas.
Like a basic white bitch.
For all the good it did him. And that was it. So, yeah, like, we all knew it was going to happen eventually, just not so fucking suddenly.
Yeah. And arguably...
Life goes on for some of us.
You had the worst experience with that because you're the one who
I think
found
that's safe
him.
to say.
I think
Yeah.
it's safe to say.
I'll take the win on that one.
And I remember when that happened, and you just know something fucking is up when someone says, "Can I call you?" You just actually no. I think you said I have to call you. I don't remember what your wording was.
I don't remember.
I gotta give you a call.
Yeah.
I was just like, or I was literally waking up from a nap, and I was so pissed. I was like, I have to talk to somebody now.
Yeah, this was about 1 or 2 in the afternoon. Still pretty early on in the day.
It was later for me. It was around 5.
Was it?
Yeah.
All right. Things have gotten broken up.
Listen,
phone calls
he had
in
a phone
batches.
tree to get through.
Yeah.
So
A lot of people to call.
not many people in their lives can probably say that they had to do a death phone tree, which is what you had to do.
Yeah. I hadn't really thought about it that way.
It's a death phone tree.
You never know what you're going to do until you're actually
You can
put in
use
position.
that as a joke if you want. Death phone tree.
You know what? I don't think I've ever heard the term phone tree before.
Phone tree. Oh, you haven't? It's
No.
like the parent teacher, like I don't know if did your school do this with like parent teacher stuff? Like where it was like if something happened, you notify this person and then you notify this, and it's like a hierarchy.
Oh, okay.
No, my school wasn't that fancy. They didn't care. They're like, if something happens to you, too bad.
Yeah, I don't recall anything like that when I was in school either. I mean, it's a logical idea. I understand the premise behind it, but
Yeah, I think I just heard about it in movies.
never heard it before.
Actually, you know what movie I heard it from? Practical Magic. Because of that scene at the start.
Movie.
Yes, it's a phone tree.
Practical magic.
I know it from call centers because we have phone trees in call centers.
There you go. Who's the first person you called? Travis. Oh, well, it would have been his mom, probably.
No.
It wasn't?
It wasn't his
Shit.
mom. I didn't have his mom's number.
Right.
I also didn't have his father's number. I managed to get... How exactly did this go down? I don't remember who the first person I called was. It might have been Travis. I think, other than obviously 911. Travis was the...
Travis and then 911.
Hot off
Travis
the
was the
presses.
first person.
He's dead, Travis. Oh, just give me a second. I gotta actually call 911.
Yeah. No, so I don't. It's all such a haze now that I don't remember exactly what had happened. I didn't or couldn't get a hold of Andrew's mom at first, and the cops wanted to notify her, being the direct next of kin. Couldn't find her address either. No, that's what it was. I had called the people that I needed to in the very beginning, and I don't remember exactly why I didn't call Andrew's mom immediately, because I think a lot of it was just knowing that she's gonna find out.
Yeah, I think in that situation, it's like, there's a corpse in my apartment. I gotta get,
Yeah. So I called everybody, and she was the last person that I got a hold of, and we were like, the cops wanted to notify her themselves, but we didn't have her address. She lives like very rural area. It's not just like Fuller Street.
Right.
And eventually I had to call her because she was starting to text Andrew's phone.
Fuck, man.
And I was like, officer, I respect that you want to do this, but this woman is going to show up here if she can't get a hold of his son.
That's right.
And his body is still in the room, and then there's going to be 2 fucking corpses here.
Fuck, man. Oh my god.
So I had to call her and tell her over the phone. That's what I didn't want to have this conversation with her over the phone. Andrew's mom. I wanted to be able to tell her in person. But no, I had to call her, and that was one of the least pleasant phone calls I've ever had to make in my life.
I can imagine.
So like, mad respect to anybody that's got to do that sort of shit on a regular basis, because I am done. I'd hope to never have to do that again.
Oh, I should fucking hope so.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it was a heavy day.
Dude. Yeah.
You don't say.
Yeah.
And then I had to stay in that apartment by myself for the next 3 months. And the worst part, I finally had the apartment all to myself for that entire time. It was the middle of a pandemic, and I couldn't use the best sympathy sex card in the world.
You couldn't because no one was fucking
Couldn't
then.
cash that shit in.
And that was at the height too. The height of like
First lockdown.
no one. You could not see a soul. You couldn't see anyone.
That was
People were scared to leave their homes.
It was a long, lonely 3 months.
Man. God, the summer of 2020 will literally be. I'll never forget it as long as I live. Like I will be if I live to be 100, I will still remember him dying, pandemic, lockdown.
Oh, for sure. This is,
The change
the
of
story.
things.
The story that I do, about Andrew dying. I had to cut a lot out of it to stay at a reasonable time. But one of the things that I cut out that at some point I'll try to work in the narrative as a whole was that like we literally just lived through a historic event. Right? Lots of shit happens. Lots of shit's footnoted in books and stuff somewhere. But there's shit that you say and people immediately know what you're talking about. World War II. Nobody doesn't know what the fuck you're talking about when you say World War II. Related to World War II, the Holocaust. Nobody doesn't know what you're talking about. The pandemic is now one of those things.
It is.
I mean,
2 years.
yeah.
We've been in this thing for.
So yeah, you're not going to remember forget the events of that summer because like this is a big thing that we all just went through.
Yeah. And then on a personal level with him dying and like how did you, if you don't mind me asking?
No, I'm an open book about this.
You had to essentially go into troubleshooting mode and the way that this is a weird comparison, but I see it like event planning when there's an event planner's state of mind when shit's going wrong is very like, this just has to get done. This, like it just becomes, almost like you turn off the emotional side to deal with logistics. And that's essentially what you had to do. You had no choice.
Yep.
You were the one who had to call the cops. You were the one who had to call. Number one, you had to have a difficult phone call with his mom and then proceed to have that conversation with all of his close friends on the phone and then make a statement to put on Facebook, which I think was that same night.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or the same day. So he would have died the night before, but you posted the statement that night.
Yeah, and we're not exactly sure when he died. Still don't know. Probably will never know. I mean, certainly not at this point. So it could have been like immediately after he went to bed. It could have been, when he was supposed to get up. Who the fuck knows?
I hope it wasn't when he got my text criticizing his podcast.
No, I don't think so. There were a bunch of unanswered texts on his phone when I finally got it unlocked. Earliest one being at 11:58 p.m. So that's why I said we don't know. Maybe he died right after he went to bed. He went to bed at like 11:55. He had just gone to bed. Got a text message from somebody that was unreplied to. So there's no way to know.
No way to know.
No.
Did you break down right away or was it shock for a long time? Probably shock, right?
No. Yeah, shock, definitely. Kind of a minor freak out at first.
Yeah.
Sort of a disbelief, like, what? What the fuck? I'm not prepared for this. And then it was, like you said, just troubleshooting mode. And in a sense, that's just that kind of person that I am. Very sort of practical.
Yes.
So I just did what I felt had to be done in the moment. I certainly wasn't going to sit on my ass and not know what to do about a dead person in my living space. The shit that has to be done in that sort of situation.
And I will say, no one joked about his death more than Andrew. And a frequent joke people would make was you finding him.
Oh, yeah. Him and I made that joke a lot. That was kind of my big thing for the first couple of weeks after. I couldn't wrap my head around it. Like, this is the thing. This is the thing that we had joked about quite a lot. One of our more morbid ones was me finding him dead. And that's literally what happened. Unbelievable.
Careful what you joke about. It might come true.
Yeah. Boy, it would suck to win the lottery.
Wouldn't that suck?
Wouldn't that suck?
Wouldn't it suck to not be depressed?
I'll tell you, though, I got an interesting tidbit of news from one Mr. Dan Hendricken today.
Oh, what's that?
And the Winnipeg Comedy Fest for 2022 is currently open for submissions. I think the cutoff somewhere in November. And one of the themes is death.
Shut up. You got to
The
submit.
time requirements are 7 to 10 minutes, TV friendly on the topic of death. A little bit of sanitization could make it TV friendly. I don't know. It was just like, this is a little too good to pass up, finding out. So I might try to get it recorded. And
You
submit
should.
it. Yeah, we'll see.
Oh, you got
Not
to.
see. I feel like I might jinx myself by bringing it up, but I don't know. Why not? It's pretty serendipitous.
I gotta say, you have a great material out of it. You helped plan a wonderful celebration of life that we did the next. No, it was that same summer. It would have been June or July of 2020, right?
It was
or
July.
was it this past?
No, it was July 2020.
No concept of time. None.
It was first week of July 2020, maybe the second week. I just moved into my new apartment.
That's right.
And it was nice. It was a nice little ceremony. Went together well. Although, I did a live stream for people that couldn't attend. The pandemic, people can't travel, gathering limits. So we did a live stream. And fucking Facebook deleted the video because of copyright strikes on the music that we were playing.
Of course they did.
Yeah.
Fucking Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah.
Go fuck yourself.
Fuck you,
Fucking
Mark.
Zucker, whatever his name.
Should have done it on Instagram Live. Oh no, I think they're
Yeah,
just
really.
as bad.
Oh,
YouTube's pretty bad
they're-
too.
Yeah, they're just
Yeah. And I get it. It's a legal thing. I should have known better. I should have known that was going to happen. But it's the principle of the matter.
It's strange because YouTube actually might be a bit better because they will because I uploaded a Taylor Swift album reaction video and there's little things you can do to get around the copyright. Like you can play a certain number of seconds and cut it off and then skip to another point in the song. Like if it doesn't quite recognize the whole song,
Right.
you might not get a strike. But sometimes they'll just mute sections of your video, which is a bit
Or
better.
demonetize.
Yeah,
big
and
thing
I'm
to
cool
do.
with that.
Yeah, whatever. In hindsight, should have done it on YouTube, but Facebook made the most sense at the time.
Facebook made the most sense. We have segments on the show now, and I still think that we should botch the assumption segment because I'm so bad at it.
And plus, you've known him for a while, so.
Yeah.
I was thinking that on the way
well,
here.
here's my assumption. I'll tell you what my assumption is, even though it's a fucking lame one.
Okay.
But we should just call it lame assumptions.
Lame assumptions.
That should be the segment.
You always this is so lame, but it's actually a good assumption.
Don't punch me in the face.
Ow!
Is that you've dated a lot of people.
Yes. Yeah,
I'm
you're
right.
correct.
And
My
the only
assumption
reason,
is-
because there's not many times that you mention a girl's name and you follow it with she's someone I just knew. It's always we dated. You've dated a lot of people.
Bitches love you. My assumption is bitches love
Interesting.
you.
Interesting. I hadn't.
And-
thank you for bringing that up. I'm gonna try to be more conscious about
I
that.
think
now.
that's a compliment. Is that not?
That's, well, yeah. I appreciate what you said, but I don't know. It's kind of I hope I don't come off as that guy.
No. But I only
nobody
know
wants
that
to be
because
that guy.
we've hung out. I think to people who aren't friends with you,
Right,
they,
okay.
they wouldn't assume you're
no.
gonna.
Look,
No,
you
I'm
gotta,
just joking. It's not a compliment. Nothing I can say at this point to get out of this at all.
no, it's cool. You're right. I've certainly dated a lot of people, which I consider myself very fortunate for.
Yeah, you should.
All things considered, as much of a cesspool as the dating market is, and apps in particular make me want to shoot myself in the fucking face.
Yeah.
I've been a little blessed in that regard, which I attribute to my stunning personality.
Did you meet a lot of these women online or through other things?
Mostly. There have been a couple of women I've dated that I've met in person, but it's almost always online. That's just the way it's done. And, I'm so tired of it. I should bookend everything that we just said about my dating life, and that I've consciously taken a big step back from that whole world for the last long time. I'm pretty much I'm not dating anybody. I'm not on any apps. I haven't been in a long time.
Oh, okay.
Taking a step back. Just got my own shit to work on,
When's the last person you were seen? Has been
We broke up in June. We dated from January until June. which
this
is-
year?
Yeah.
Shit.
Uh,
Oh, I didn't know.
I know. That was the longest that I had dated one person since Andrea, actually.
Oh shit.
And yeah, it just, I wasn't really feeling it. So I ended things with her. And I think a lot of that was just my dissatisfaction with dating in general. And so just kind of hanging on to her, wondering if that was going to be better than not seeing anybody, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And then, no, I manned the fuck up and did what had to be done and walked away. And now here we are.
And now you're on a journey
I'm
of
on a
being
journey.
alone.
Now I do mushrooms
now
in the woods by myself.
Everything's a journey when you're a single person.
It's true.
It can't just be you're single. It has
No,
to be
you're
a
right.
journey.
There has to be some deeper philosophical meaning to it. My deeper philosophical meaning is just that I fucking love being by myself, and it's difficult to find somebody that I enjoy sharing that space with. So I'm just gonna stop looking.
Were
for
you
them.
always that way?
Yeah, I was an only child.
Oh,
Single
that makes
parent.
sense. That would do
Grew
it.
up with all my own time and space, so my social batteries are not quite as high as some people.
Oh,
And
I feel that.
Sarah has a low
Yeah.
battery.
so that's why when I disappear from the social scene, whether that be comedy or seeing friends or anything for weeks or months at a time, it's because I can do that. I'm very content in my solitude. That's just how I've always been.
You know what?
Yeah.
That's an awesome thing to have these days when you don't know.
I feel like I may not
Yeah.
have enough skills to survive in the wilderness by myself, but like if the world ended tomorrow, I could probably fare pretty okay being alone until I like died of dysentery or something,
Right.
you know?
Well, because so many people are so reliant on others,
Yeah.
don't know how to operate without others. This pandemic has like made people spiral because they had no idea what it was like to be alone with themselves.
Yep, absolutely.
And so for people like you, I mean, you had to deal with a dead friend. So it was like, here you go.
But I could.
Something to deal with, but you could.
That's
you
the thing, I
able
could.
to- I do remember actually.
All jokes aside about, you know, how that all went down and the time that I had to spend isolated in the apartment, it was something that I was able to handle because I'm the type of person that can handle being alone.
Used to it.
Yep.
I remember when that happened, and like it was like a week later, I was like, "Do you want to come over to talk?" Because I was just like, "Is Richard okay?"
Yeah, I was okay.
Like we were all kind of like in this
Not
weird state of
completely
mind,
okay,
but
but-
like I remember like we like you came to drop off the webcam that Andrew
Oh,
borrowed,
yeah, right.
and like you stood in the doorway, and like we stayed apart.
Yeah,
like,
I didn't wanna get
social
too
distance
close.
or whatever. But like it was, yeah, I was worried about you. But
I got that a
but
lot.
that's reassuring to know that like
Rest assured, I kept tabs of everybody that expressed that concern and those who stayed conspicuously absent from my
oh
life.
shit, did you?
Yeah.
That's fair. That's a really, because we're not all like, this is the thing about grief.
And I get it.
It can
It's
be
not like-
selfish. It can be selfish.
I feel kind of bad having said that because it makes me sound like some sort of
no,
petty
no.
asshole.
I don't think you should feel bad at all
And
because
I'm
you went
not.
through a trauma.
Yeah. So
Like
yeah,
we
no.
all lost a friend,
I-
but you went through a trauma because you had to find
I
him.
guess all I should say about that is that like I did notice people who I expected to hear from that would be reasonable to assume that I didn't, you know, hear anything from, which was a bit shocking and a little bit hurtful.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I
That's
get it.
fair.
I don't necessarily keep in contact with people, and I've certainly missed big events as well. But it's hard not to notice that sort of thing.
And it's hard, like, yeah, that's such a tough thing. When you, Ugh, that makes me feel sad. Check in on your fucking friends, just
Yeah, check in
as
on
a
your
general rule.
And I shouldn't even fucking say that out loud because I'm terrible. Again, going back to the solitude thing, like I will lose contact with people for long stretches of time. It happens. It's a regular occurrence. And it's tough to not feel guilty about that sometimes, but also that's just who I am. And I think the people close in my life know that. So
Dang. Whew. I just went down many roads, many
Yeah?
emotional roads.
are we getting a little too heavy?
Well,
I
no,
can- I
it
can
just
tone
makes me.
back
It
a
makes me
little.
think of all. This is a weird thing. It makes me think of birthdays.
Yeah.
When it's your birthday, like one thing that I've noticed about birthdays for me lately, it's like they're just less and less sentimental as I get older and as I lose friendships. It just becomes like, you know, Facebook messages from
Yep.
people who maybe I'm a friend to them, but like my bar for friendship is so high that like I don't consider them a close friend.
Yep.
And then it's like one of the loneliest feelings in the world where you're like, this is my day and I don't have friends.
It can be. My circle of very close friends is quite small. And it can be easy. Like if I'm in a bad state of mind, if I'm feeling shitty, if I'm feeling depressed, if, you know, just stupid sad brains, it can be easy to twist that into, I don't have any friends. I don't have any friends. You know, oh, I should have more friends. But then eventually you snap out of that state of mind and you realize, no, this is actually perfectly okay. And when my birthday comes around, there's a core group of people that I can count on that will celebrate that with me, and whatever that celebration may be. And that doesn't have to be, I inevitably have a wonderful time, and it doesn't have to be more than the people that it is.
Yep. And also, I think realizing the silence of people isn't always personal, which that can be a hard thing.
To get be mad about it when I do the same thing.
Yeah,
I'd
exactly,
hate to be
right?
called a hypocrite.
Exactly.
So I'll never be the type of person to call somebody out for being like, why don't you talk to me anymore? It's like, well, why the fuck didn't I reach out to you either?
Mm-hmm. Dang, son. I think I said something to you recently about, I was just like, I don't do friendship well. Oh yeah, you had asked me about somebody, and I was just like, yeah, I don't do friendship well. And you said, me too. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. So like, what makes you think that you don't do friendship well? Is it just the not reaching out thing, not making an effort to make plans?
I just more or less all the points I just went over. You know, a lot of keeping to myself. I'm not necessarily always going to be the first one to reach out to somebody, and it's easy for me to allow more time than should to pass. Yeah, you know.
That's just adult life too, I think.
Yeah, that's a lot of it.
I think being busy.
It's a natural consequence of being an adult
and getting
older.
older.
People have been joking about this in sitcoms for, decades. You get old and lose touch with your friends.
And here we are. Isn't
and
it
here
fun?
Here we are doing the exact same thing. Welcome, leave it the fucking Beaver over here.
Yeah.
I almost said welcome to Beaver.
It's interesting because you talk about like having that like you're really comfortable with solitude.
Yeah.
And I'm like, the pandemic made me comfortable with like the pandemic has made me an introvert.
You know what?
I never thought I'd say those words, but I am.
I don't think it made you an introvert. What I think happened to you and quite a number of other people is that you were forced to learn what your tolerance for solitude is. And when you're forced to learn something like that, you adapt because you know that you can handle it. So I wouldn't necessarily say it made you an introvert. It simply allowed you to realize that you can handle however much time without the company of others. And you're going to be fine.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
And I can cherish it.
It's difficult.
And crave it.
It's difficult to sort of define that threshold in normal non-pandemic life because you never don't have the option of seeing people if you want to or being alone if you want to. You have the choice. And for a long time, the choice wasn't available. And so people were able to further define what the limits were.
Yeah, that's so true. Yep. That's so true. And I've also found that like I rely on alone time more so now to charge me up versus hanging out with others. I like to think that like
that again,
I'm still a people person.
It's also a consequence of getting older. So just lay on your fucking couch and let your feet stop swelling.
Am I an introvert or am I just old? I think I'm just old.
Exactly.
I think I'm just old and not sleeping enough.
Fuck.
Could be it.
The things that hurt when I wake up for no reason.
I know.
And like I fucked my ankle up in August. Just after, well, a lot of people don't know about this because it happened just a couple of days after I deleted all my social media. So I went off social media for like 6 weeks, which was great. It was wonderful. I fucking recommend it to anybody. I felt so good. Different if you need to maintain a brand. I get it. It's not feasible for everyone. But if you can just stop looking at your social media for 6 weeks, do it. Anyway, a couple of days into that, I was at work and it's not even a good story. It's not even something that I can manipulate into making me look in any way cool. I literally hopped off a deck 18 inches off the ground, landed on some uneven terrain, and almost broke my ankle. That was it. I was on my ass. This was like 1 hour into an 8-hour shoot day. And I was laying on my back with a bag of ice on my ankle for the next 7 hours. And this happened in Pictou. I had to drive back to Halifax.
No.
And then I made the stupid choice of going to the Cobequid instead of the QE2. And they were fucking backed up. And like, I had to hobble out of my car in the parking lot on one foot all the way into the door. It was such a mess. Anyway, yeah, fucked my ankle up real bad.
Reminds me of when I fell roller skating. Same thing.
Still hurts.
Stupid idea.
This happened in the middle of August, and it's still causing me grief.
know.
It's just like getting old, man. I'm not 20 anymore. Big injuries take a long time to heal now, and that's just the reality of the rest of your life.
Fuck. That's... We old as shit.
Yeah, we're getting there, right?
I literally had a thought and it disappeared from my brain. Yeah, it reminds me of when I fell roller skating. I literally just stopped. I was roller skating, lapping around the commons, stopped to take a selfie with somebody, my friend that I was with, and fell. Just lost my balance. I wasn't even moving on the wheels when I fell. I was standing still and just like I did this, like the cartoon, like, you know, like when you go back.
That would happen to you, though. You would just be standing still and not doing anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very on brand for you.
I ate shit on rollerblades last time I was on rollerblades.
They're
Trying
not
to cross the
easy.
street. I fucking fell in like traffic, crosswalk. You get up to get on your feet. Go back again.
So dramatic.
The driver in the first car facing me was just howling, laughing.
Fuck.
I
It
looked
hurts.
ridiculous. Now, thankfully, I was also like 23 when that happened, so nothing more than a bruised ego, really.
Do you care about age? Like when someone like, do you get offended when people ask your age? How old are you?
38.
Like I think with this a lot, and like I'm also trying to write a joke about how it's like every single time I turn a new age, it just becomes my like identity. Because I don't think I don't remember the last time that I was an age where I wasn't like, I'm 22,
Yeah.
I'm 23. Like.
Well, this is also like the way culture is marketed to women in our society too. Age is never portrayed as such a big deal with guys, except for the fact that you get hurt and it takes a little longer to heal. You wake up with a sore back. Oh, my knees are bad. That's getting old. Yuck, yuck, yuck. But women, it's like, you're 30 now. This is a big fucking deal. You need to start using moisturizer, and you need to start doing this. Or
Oh,
nobody's
at
gonna like
30?
you, you
Oh,
ugly
it starts
piece of
much earlier
shit.
than that.
Oh, you're almost
I would
40.
say it starts around 25. I think
It starts
the
from the moment you're
anti-aging.
born. Like anti-aging specifically, sure. But my point is, like, society as a whole makes a way bigger deal about a person's age for women than they do for men.
Yeah.
You know, so that's certainly not an uncommon story. That's disgusting.
Good friend of mine, I still don't know how old she is because she refuses to tell her friends.
Right?
And it's just an interesting thing because I go,
Just think about like, oh, it's rude to ask a woman her age.
because there's two sides of it, right? Why do I need to know? Why does it matter? But also, why not?
Well, there's
Just
a lot
like the
of
marriage debate, remember? Our marriage debate?
there's a
you
lot
and
of
I-
reason age could matter, man. I mean, if I meet somebody who I know is the same age as me, I can be pretty guaranteed we lived through the same experiences. We probably have similar tastes in pop culture. We likely, although may not like things from our respective childhoods, i.e., I never listened to Blink 182, but like, goddamn, if I don't know a
Right.
shitload of Blink 182 songs because I grew up in the 90s,
Right.
you know? Stuff like that. Versus like finding out somebody's 10 years younger than me. Well, okay, there's a lot of shit that the two of us probably don't have in common.
That's right. It provides context.
Yeah, exactly. That's
That-
the best
and
way to
that's-
describe
and that's
it.
why,
like knowing
like-
somebody's age provides a lot of context to who this person is.
It does. It does. Especially when I find it's always very bizarre when I think someone's in their 30s and they're not, because I go, oh, you're gonna be fine. Like, because I'm like, if you're that,
Yeah.
I was not. Like, I mean, I would say 30. Like 30 is when I started intoxicated. 30 is really when I found who I was. But like, kids these days, I can't believe I just said that. Kids these days are finding themselves and being self-aware much earlier, and that's crazy to me.
I think that's a byproduct of the internet age, honestly.
I think it's a good thing. Do you think it's a good thing?
I do.
Ooh, yeah, this is a weird
Yes and
subject.
no. I think it's a good thing because access to information is a good thing.
Yeah.
Where it becomes more of a gray area for me is that like there's a lot of shit that kids just aren't equipped to deal with. And we've never had to, as a society, deal with kids learning about shit as young as they do because the internet's such a new invention. The access to information is not necessarily a great thing for a large segment of our population whose brains are literally not done developing yet.
Right.
You know, it's information overload. There's so much shit out there that anybody can access the key, a stroke of a key, regardless of whether or not they're mentally prepared to have access to that kind of information.
Yeah.
It's weird because obviously you don't want to gatekeep who can access, like that's real.
Like
that's what
age
I mean.
limits
This is
or
kind of
yeah.
a gray area, right? Like that's kind of a shitty thing. You don't want to bar entry to information to people based on arbitrary metrics. But like 8-year-olds shouldn't be watching hardcore gangbang porn,
No.
right? That's fucked up.
5-year-olds shouldn't have iPads.
5-year-olds shouldn't be exposed to like crazy right-wing extremism.
Do you think it's making people more ADHD because of all the shit?
Maybe. I don't know. I think there's some compelling, I believe. I don't know. You know what? To be honest, it's not really a topic that I've looked that much into. I think there's some compelling evidence to say yes, but don't quote me on that.
But also just the fact that, like, yes, social media has a lot of positives. It can create community. It can teach people things. But then there's the whole side of, like, holy fuck, can you imagine our childhood being on Instagram?
Oh, my God.
Or, like, our videos that we made when we were, like, stupid kids being on YouTube.
Look, I went through a period of time from age 13 to 14 where I seriously contemplated killing myself. And I'm confident that if that experience happened now, I
With the
would be
internet.
dead.
Yeah. I mean,
I can't
fair,
even imagine having to be a part of the echo chamber of your teenage years in an online sphere. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. The comments, the hate comments,
No
the
way.
negative comments,
The
the
cyberbullying.
the comparison factor.
yeah.
Because, I mean, it was even bad for us.
Yeah.
Growing up, seeing Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, the low-rise jeans, the belly, the super
Fucking-
skinny pop
The
stars.
razor eyebrows.
Yeah. Like we grew up with, I think it was mostly, like, I would say, like, the media and magazines and,
Yeah.
like,
Oh, fashion magazines.
that was the thing. But, like, okay,
Much
we
music,
still
on
have that
TV.
now. But now we have Instagram.
Yeah, but now it's everything's right there, man. You can find anything you want. It's
Yeah.
crazy. I have. This is such a weird time to be alive.
Dude, it's so fucking strange.
It's just, yeah.
And
I don't know,
I
man.
need to pitch you my idea for a TV show.
Yeah.
Eastlink or Bell, hit me up. I want to make this happen somehow.
Okay.
Maybe I'll pitch it to your sister's company. Oh my God, I should. Have I told you about this idea yet?
What's your sister's company?
It's called Canadian Content Studios.
Oh wait, is that how they're? That's the John's,
Jonathan,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Jonathan, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And they just shot a TV with Nathan McIntosh.
Oh wow. Oh cool. These guys are popping up all over the place. I never heard of them before 6 months ago when Alex started doing work for them.
Yeah.
And then she left our company to go work for them. And fucking Volley shows up on TV.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Name dropping everywhere.
Sarah
they
was a
put
PA
them
on
on.
Volleys.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
know.
Sarah
We
Volley,
gotta
sure.
talk
Yeah,
about
we
it.
gotta talk about it.
I want to do a reality show, and I'm just saying I'd be a great host for it because I can relate to the contestants, and I would be funny and entertaining. So a reality show based here in Nova Scotia or anywhere in Canada, where we take social media addicted influencers
Okay.
and put them in the woods without internet or devices.
Bring some body bags.
Reality TV gold.
That'd be something, man.
Here's the name. I thought about the name. You don't want to go like unplugged or off the grid, or it would just be without a screen or screenless.
Something like
Screenless.
super literal.
Or like, I don't know. It would be something like that. But like we would teach them how to like connect with nature, how to like actually talk to a person one-on-one.
You might maybe if you're super lucky, one person out of the entire group will stick it out to the end.
This is why it would be a great reality show. But we got to have some sort of hot cash prize or something.
Yeah.
Or maybe like the prize is just like you can return to your influencer life.
Yeah, there you go.
Where you can make way
Your
more
prize
money
is
than
we
this
let you
TV
go.
show will ever make. Yeah. I still really want to make that happen. What do you think, Sarah? Is that a good idea for a show?
I love that idea. I like without a screen.
Without a screen.
That's good. You can
Or
get that real
also
dramatic without a
screenless is pretty
screen.
Screenless.
Yeah.
Unplugged.
Tonight on TLC.
Low battery.
Screenless.
Yeah, there's
Low battery.
there's a lot of ways we could go with it. But like you're good. Yeah, you've taken breaks from social media. You've gone I'm
Full
done. If you want to contact me,
great.
get my number, bitch. Which is a great thing to do because I don't have a lot of numbers in my phone.
I don't even have your phone number.
Man,
Isn't
I
that
am
wild?
shocked at the amount of people that I only engage in with through Instagram and like,
Or Facebook chat.
hey, I've been talking to you for over 2 years and I don't have your phone number. That's when we live in the same city.
And there was a time where text, like phone text, was like a thing, a big thing that we would do. And then
Yeah.
group chats became, like Facebook Messenger really kicked off.
Yep.
And yeah, it's like I really don't have a lot of people's phone numbers and I don't text a lot. I only text for like immediate things or
I actually
work.
have like a couple of hundred phone numbers in my phone book, but I also never delete phone numbers.
Oh, that's fascinating.
They just live there, with the exception of like some people. I'd never want to be thinking of you again. You're getting deleted.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, if I just come across somebody's number in whatever circumstance, I'd rarely ever delete it out of my phone. Just never think I did. So I've accumulated quite a few, and every
You're
now
a phone
and then,
number hoarder.
I'm a phone number hoarder. And then like every now and then, I still infrequently use Snapchat. I used to use Snapchat a lot.
Hate this fucking app. What are we talking about now?
I'm not really a fan of Snapchat, but I still use it a little bit. There's a couple of people I still keep in contact with through it. And Snapchat has a feature that syncs to your contact list, right?
Yeah.
And, like, if somebody's registered with their number in Snapchat, you'll have access, be able to add them as a friend. But because some of the numbers I have are so old, they've changed hands. So every now and then I'll go look at my like Snapchat contact list and it'll be the most fucking like weird. Obviously a sex scammer has this account. Like, Bill, what are you doing?
Yeah.
But no, obviously that's definitely not Bill anymore.
It's so weird to me when people say, like, to me, Snapchat was always a sexting thing. It was never anything else.
That was primarily what I used it for back when I was using it a
Same.
lot. But that was like, I should clarify. So if we're going back to the dating conversation a little bit, one of the things that I should really point out about that whole, like, yeah, I've dated a bunch of women. I got back into the dating pool after ending a 10-year relationship.
Right.
Where the sex was bad and infrequent and the emotional connection between us had been gone for a long time.
So it's comfort.
No. At first, a lot of what I had said applies mainly to the first few years that I was kind of out there because, my ex and I started dating pretty young. We were both 21. Actually, she's a couple years older than me. So like I was 21, she was 23. We were together for 10 years. And I didn't have a lot of dating experience prior to her. And then things ended very badly. And so I just felt like I had a lot of time to make up for.
Oh, yeah. I think a lot of people
I just
have that
crushed the
mentality.
apps for the next 2 years.
Yeah.
I am comfortable enough now to firmly call it my whore phase, in a very safe and respectful manner. I wasn't
slutty
doing
phase.
anything. Just a basic slutty phase.
I feel like most people have
Get
that.
tested a few times a year, make sure everything's good. Always use protection. Don't do anything stupid. It's fine. It's fun. It was a lot of fun.
No regrets.
The last few years have been very different. Very much I'm done with that.
Yeah. I've never had a slutty phase.
So during that phase is when I was using Snapchat. I was also using on working on the Curse of Oak Island at the time. So that was an easy way to send disposable pictures of things that I'd signed NDAs and couldn't be sending people.
Oh, yeah, fair.
So yeah, that got a lot of use. And then I just sort of stopped using it. I don't know. Moved over to Instagram.
Yeah,
And
same.
Now that's
Same
my
with me.
primary. Now I just post memes on Instagram 6 times a day.
Rattling.
That's fun. No,
You're too
don't take
rattly.
it. Don't take it.
Oh.
It's too rattly.
Too rattly. Snapchat, I used to be huge
I
on
can't believe
Snapchat.
I didn't bust this out once while we were talking about Andrew.
I know, right? We should is there a way we could... Oh, damn it. I was like, if there was a hole inside of him, I could
Hey. Oh, is there not? Oh, that could work. Huh?
Oh, shit. Let's get it on
That's a
just
little-
Richard for a second.
That's a little too close to my face, I think. But there we go. Hey, nice to see you, buddy.
Amazing.
I'm trying to sound like some sort of weird, shitty ventriloquist act. I can't throw my voice. So.
That's
I'm a
perfect.
disembodied skull. Well, I'm fucking terrible at this.
Wait, do your best Vaughn.
No, I can't. I'm terrible at impressions. I won't even embarrass myself by trying.
I am too. Yeah, it's pretty bad.
No, I learned that one the hard way.
Everyone seems to have had a slutty phase, and I haven't. And I feel like
I don't know, man.
I'm going for 40. Let's try to get one in before 40, Sarah.
I wouldn't
if we can do
necessarily
it.
say. I wouldn't necessarily say that everybody's had one. I think
A lot of people say that though.
Yeah, maybe, but it also
It's not necessary.
it's not necessary, and I think it's very much a personal distinction as to what qualifies as that. Look, I'm not trying to sound like some fucking lady killing Casanova or anything like that. That's not the case. The
We have a
experiences-
title, people.
The experiences.
Lady killing Casanova with
No.
Richard Allen.
No, please, God, no.
No, it's Dead Friend Club.
The Dead Friend Club. There, I like it. Yeah,
Dead
that's
Friend
it.
Club.
Yeah. Oh, right. There was that girl at Gus's.
Oh yeah.
I remember that phrase came up, Dead Friend Club, and then I fist bumped it.
because people frequently say the Dead Dad Club or the Dead Mom Club is very much so a thing, because when
never
you
heard
meet
that.
another person whose parent has died, it's because that's a whole other level of grief and death that
Yeah,
would be a whole other thing. And I imagine people would connect over that.
Mm-hmm.
With friends, it's a strange thing when a friend dies.
Man, I should have gotten that girl's number. She was so cute. We really connected over our mutual dead friends.
I feel like she was young, really young.
Maybe, but
Not
again,
gonna
going
stop.
back to age, until you know, it doesn't matter. Who the fuck knows?
That's
I'm
true.
done trying to guess.
She was
women's
old
age.
enough to be in a bar, so
Old enough to be in a bar. And
You know.
if she ended up being 20, then I'd shamefully pass. But you know,
Oh my
can't
god!
win if you don't play.
Shit, we have a new segment. We got to do the new segment, Sarah.
What's that?
It's what's wrong with you?
Oh, before we get to that,
Oh, yeah.
I want to circle back to your slutty phase thing.
Oh, yeah.
Where I was going with that is that like the experiences I had, some people would consider nothing, right? Like a slutty phase to them is hundreds of people,
Oh,
you know, and ridiculous things. So everybody defines that sort of thing separately. I don't know your sexual history. I don't necessarily.
actually,
want to.
I know when my slave phase was. Now that I think about it, because it probably would have been when I was trying to be like experimental
Right.
with sub stuff, and I had hooked up with. I don't know if you would have been. Oh, bleep this, Sarah, if you can remember. Bleep. Anyone know what? If not, whatever. You live in Bridgewater now. I wish you well. I hooked up with this guy named.
I don't think I remember.
That would have been before you had come around, I think. This is so dark, and like
That's fine.
maybe trigger warning if you don't want to hear about bruises and stuff, but like we were having like rough sex
Yeah.
and like bruise worthy sex, and like
You guys were seeing each other for a while, right?
what
Were you
Wesley?
guys-
No, we never dated.
Oh.
We were only hooking up because I haven't dated. I haven't had
Right.
a boyfriend
But
for
you
10
two
years.
were hooking up for a while, right? Because I think like, you and him were banging when Andrea and I were seeing each other, I believe.
It might have been. It very well might
So I
have
never
been
met
around
the
that
guy,
time.
but you know, I was hearing stories.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And then he got involved with the roommate I had after Andrea,
Oh no shit!
which was a whole other thing because I was just
Wow,
like,
that's a
"Bitch,
piece of shit.
You
Fuck
know,
both of them.
yeah. I also have a tendency to have ex roommates who've dated comics. It's just very strange because I'm like, why can't I do it? And that goes to show that sometimes you're an unaware late 20s person who is like, this is, ooh, we're into BDSM. We're so edgy. And it's like deep down, it's like, oh, not healthy. Not good.
I definitely know some people that are into that for unhealthy reasons. For,
Yep.
For
They think they deserve it for some
yeah,
deep down. It's like,
or because of like traumatic events and like, specifically sexually traumatic events.
yeah,
That make them more inclined to engage in that sort of behavior.
yeah.
And it's unfortunate.
I was
don't wanna say that.
back then it was like I was just under the understanding of like, oh, the sub gives up all control and we don't have any control. How fun is that?
Yeah, man,
and
that's
then like, you know,
fucking
later in life I realized, oh no, being a
terrible.
sub is actually like way more powerful than I thought it was
you've
back
got-
then.
In any sort of reasonably respectful encounter in that regard, you pretty much got all the power. You know, the person you're with is being awfully shitty if they don't stop when you say stop.
Oh, there's a lot of bad doms out there.
I
Bad
know,
people who
I've
think they're doms.
Heard so many of these stories.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing. And it's actually, you know what? Not to get too personal. I have specifically avoided getting involved in that scene because of the bad stories I've heard and who I've heard them about. And so that's
Totally fair.
Yep.
That's totally fair. And that is definitely something that if I were to talk to, say, a girl in her 20s, even now, even with the times that they are now, I would just like highly advise against it until you really understand what that dynamic is and your boundaries.
Exactly. Damn,
and
read some fucking books. You want
read some books.
You want some dude to slap you around in bed? Fine, you're gonna have an easy time finding somebody willing to do that. Read some books first. Just have an idea of what you're getting into. Know what the rules should be, and kick anybody to the curb who gives even a whiff of not being able to follow those rules.
I'd also, if you can do it with someone that you trust a lot, that would be great.
Exactly.
Like maybe someone you know a bit better than, like I had that situation. That was like my first foray into it.
Just gonna grab
Oh yeah,
another
go
beer.
get it. And that was like he. Oh, it's in the fridge. Oh, actually, I think I know specifically where it is in the fridge. It should be like wedged in between Chinese food takeout. I can't believe I'm saying these words.
And an old bologna sandwich.
All right, back to kinky sex.
Oh yeah, but the first one was he slapped me in the face without me knowing, and my first reaction was shock, but then ooh, and so that's when I was like, oh, maybe I'd like an aspect of this, but like obviously it was very unhealthy, and like you ask a person before you hit them across the face.
Ask a person before you hit them across the face.
It's just the decent thing to
really
do.
anything.
It's just the decent thing to do.
Discuss your boundaries and stick to them.
Boundaries are important
Boundaries are important.
in the bedroom and in friendships and relationships and life. And
I feel like I give off enough
Maps.
of a boundary respecting vibe during dates that's why I've been able to be so lucky with my dating life.
oh, just very like
Hey men, take note. The bar is not that high. You can do real good if you treat her like a human being.
the bar's in hell.
Yeah.
It truly is.
If this piece of shit can get laid, so can you.
You're not a piece of shit. Is like a relationship something that you said you're not really trying, but is it something you want right now, or are you just very content? Like
Wants a strong word. I am open to the idea if I were to meet the right person.
There.
I am, however, not convinced that that's going to happen.
yeah, same.
There have been a couple of instances where I thought I had. Turned out I was wrong. And it's kind of demotivating. Those moments are few and far between, and to have your shit shattered like that can be emotionally difficult to deal with. The last one, big one, it's kind of shitty because the last woman that I dated, like I said, who was for the longest time that I had in a long time, I just really didn't feel that even from the start. The person before her, I fell hard for, like in a way that I hadn't in a very long time, and it didn't work out, and it was kind of a step back.
Was there a reason why?
Oh, entirely her shit. It's long. And
Okay, but like
not
it
good
wasn't
podcast
like
material.
it wasn't like a big blow up or
No, it wasn't some crazy fight or anything like that. It was a lot of. It was, not to rehash an old topic. It was the first person that I had kind of developed any sort of emotional intimacy with immediately following Andrew's passing. So it was literally like 3 months after. We'd been friends for a number of years.
Oh, okay.
We just happened to, for the first time in the duration of our friendship, have a couple of solo one-on-one sort of dinner hangouts. And that was it. She said all the things that I think subconsciously maybe she knew I wanted to hear.
Right.
And that's all it took. And then it just spiraled out for a couple of months.
I
realized that we were not on the same page at all. And I was like, I'm done. I can't do this.
Same page. Whenever people say this, we were on the same page. Something these people who date say all the time. And I'm like, what do they mean by that? What's the page? Is it
What page is this? What page should I be
what's
on?
this
I don't
book
know.
that I haven't seen in 10 fucking years
The page
since I was
was-
25?
I was ridiculously infatuated with this woman, and she just wanted to bang. That's all she was getting out of it.
You know what? I've been hearing this more and more lately. I think that, like, typically speaking, people tend to think that it's men who just want to fuck. And the more I hear about, like, these kind of dynamics with people, it's the fucking guy who wants more. And girls are, like, very much so embracing, like,
Could be.
just hooking up lately.
Could be. If I were to offer, not necessarily a counterpoint to that, but maybe a train of thought on it is you're also, we all are, as we've discussed, getting older. And so the dynamics of the dating scene sort of shift a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, as you get older, women. You know what? Forget I said anything. I can't even.
No, I like that.
I'm
Where
sort
you
of
going with that?
sort of losing my train of thought on it, and I'm afraid it's just not going to come out the way I want it to. So I'm hitting the
That's
eject
thing.
button on that.
Hey,
whole-
listen, being self-aware about the train going off the tracks is a great thing
Yeah,
to be.
no. I'm hitting the eject button on that one.
Eject abort. We're done.
Maybe we'll go back to it a little bit later.
Yeah,
if I
I
collect
mean,
my
yeah,
thoughts
definitely.
a little, but I think that's just a getting older thing. Men's and women's priorities shifting differently as they stage.
And
through
it could be that that being empowered as a woman maybe takes a bit longer. Because I have this whole theory that, like, we're guys don't get marketed self-help books like we do. You know what I mean? Like,
Not
we're
in the same
constantly
way.
being. That said, I did bring that up on a podcast last year, and I got called out big time for it by the guest. The guest straight up was like, "No, that's bullshit. Men work on themselves too. You just don't see it as much. Women are just way more open about working on themselves."
Women are way more open about working on themselves.
And men are probably doing it, but they're probably just don't feel comfortable sharing it as much as women do, which that makes sense, maybe. Which leads me
I think that's
to
very valid.
the segment,
Ooh, yes.
because we've talked about suicides, we talked about suicide stuff, but this is the "What's Wrong with You" segment. So,
Oh,
what's wrong with you? What are you insecure about? What's kind of an issue that you're tackling right now with yourself? Are you pulling up a note? Oh, okay. I thought you were going to pull up like a list of items. He's like, where do I start?
there is one specific thing
Oh,
that
let's
I
hear it.
wanted to bring up a little bit later. And I just wanted to remember how to pronounce the word.
Oh, sweet. Oh, sweet.
In general, though, yeah, like my own physical health, body image, things like that. I've started to take a little more seriously in the last year compared to generally the rest of my entire life before that. Throw me a question of some sort. I'm sort of
Oh, like
blanking
what?
here.
What do you mean by that? Like
Okay. Yeah, sorry.
classic podcaster? What do you
Sorry,
elaborate?
you're a great interview.
Please elaborate on that.
That shit's on me.
I was pausing for dramatic effect
That
because I
alcohol's
thought you were
starting
getting
to go to the head.
emotional.
I don't drink much these days. No, I'm not getting emotional over it.
Well, I
Body image
actually
issues have been a large part of my life for a long time. But I've been going to the gym pretty regularly. I've been trying to get my eating under control. I've been losing weight, trying to take better care of myself. But like there is, and I see this opinion gets shared less and less these days, and people are certainly a lot more willing to call this out on it. But like there's a lot of times overlooked how many body issue images men can have. Right? Everybody knows the classic trope of the woman hating her body. Do these pants make me look fat? Blah, 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 blah.
weight, skin, hair.
Yeah.
We have to be perfect. All these aspects. Yeah.
Exactly. But like dudes get that too. You know,
Yeah.
we're marketed He-Man dolls from the time we can even play with dolls. Right? Like the things that women are given pink ballerinas and men are given like shirtless superheroes with bodybuilder
Yeah.
physiques and a perfect head of hair and perfect teeth. Perfect skin. Everybody loves them, right? And so there's a lot of overlap, I think, in this particular sphere between the genders. When that's not to say that people don't recognize the fact that men have body image issues. They certainly do. But you certainly hear more of it about women.
You hear more, and it's more. There's more sympathy,
And more sympathy with women, too.
I think, towards women.
Yeah, absolutely. The fairer sex, you know? But no, men deal with that shit too. I know I do. I've been trying to work on it. That's part of.
Because that's an interesting thing that you're saying that. Because like you and I mean, like we've known each other. I should have brought this up at the beginning of the podcast, but like you and I met before I even got into the comedy scene.
We met
I didn't even know you were a comic when I met you.
2015. We met in October 2015. That's when Andrea and I started dating. I think I met you on like our second or third date. She'd brought me over here.
Yeah?
No, it was a Halloween party, which was our third date.
Oh, shit. That's right. Was I a hot dog that year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was BoJack Horseman. It's great. It's one of my favorite costumes. Unfortunately, all the pictures I have of me in it have
The
Andrea
horse
in
head.
it.
I
so
remember
don't use
having the horse
pictures.
head in the apartment.
Yeah, it was mine.
And I mean, obviously, I got to know you a lot more in the years that I got into the comedy scene and met Andrew and met those guys. Like, I didn't know you that well when you dated Andrea, other than you were dating.
No, we really
you
just
were
hung
my
out
roommate.
through your roommate, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But what I've noticed, especially since Andrew's passing, is that you seem like a warmer person now. And I don't know if I'm at all right in saying that. And I don't know if that's an inner happiness thing that maybe has come out since his death.
Yeah,
Because
a
fuck
little,
that guy, right? No.
No, I'll be perfectly honest. A large part of that is my own very nihilistic views on life.
Oh, shit. Nihilistic.
Look,
What do you mean by nihilistic?
the universe doesn't give a fuck about you or me or this podcast or anybody on this tiny speck of dirt flying through the universe. Okay, we're all gonna fucking die. It's gonna happen, and it
Literally.
can happen anytime.
Yes.
So why be mad about things?
But you seem nicer. Is that a weird thing for me to say? Like a nicer, like, or more, I don't know. You always seem very even keel to me. Very
I get that a lot.
even, but like you seem more expressive now. And I don't know.
It's more often phrased as
What
"you're
that
very
is.
hard to read,"
That's
which
what,
is what you want to hear from
but you're easier to read
the
now.
person you're dating.
So what's happened?
I don't know. I wish I could answer that question.
Maybe it is just,
I think, well, I mean, no, I would say generally speaking, things are just kind of in a better place.
Yeah.
Sort of, almost.
seems that way.
Not any specific regard. It's not like my life is better because my best friend died.
No,
That's
yeah.
ridiculous.
That's not really where we're going with it. But it
like-
does make you realize what kind of,
It
as
helped me
cheesy as it
realize the
seems.
value of, relationships with other people, and there's no point getting bent out of shape about stuff. You might as well just be nice to people. Hey, I still get in pissy moods, and I still go through intense mental gymnastics on various ways to inflict things on people. But I don't know. I guess I'm coming across nicer. That's something good to know.
well, maybe I'm not wording it right, but just more like warm is the word that comes to mind.
Yeah, I'm warm. I'm turning into a warm. I'll
You're
be a
warm.
warm old guy.
You're warm and cozy now.
Warm and cozy.
I think that there's something
Like a
to be
teddy
said
bear.
for like experiencing a trauma like that, like losing your roommate, us losing a friend. That when you go through, you had a bad fucking day. It's
a bad day.
Arguably one of the worst days you'll ever have.
Bad day. That's the other thing too. Like that was probably the worst day of my life.
And so like that's another spin on it where you
whatever, I got
go,
through
what
it.
else can
That's
happen?
fine. What else can happen?
What else can happen that would be at all
Like,
worse than what
The
that
truth
was?
is, I know the things that can happen and eventually will that are going to be worse than that, and I'm a hell of a lot more prepared for it now than I was before.
Ding, ding, ding,
So-
ding, ding. And I think that's what it is, right?
Yeah.
Do you do the cheesy things that women do for body image confidence, like self-talk and telling yourself that you're beautiful and you deserve to be loved every day?
No, I'm usually poking and prodding various parts, calling myself a fucking fat ass.
That's me too. Same though. Same.
Occasional like ughs of disgust.
Yeah. I feel that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's this thing like Sarah and I talked about, like body acceptance, where it's like you don't have to love your body, but learning to accept it and respect it is kind of the thing where it's like, I don't like this right now, but I'm going to try to treat it good so that one day it'll be a hotter body.
Absolutely. No, you're absolutely right. It's baby steps. It's all
Baby
about
steps.
Any sort of big change you want to make, even if it's something like body composition. It's all about the little steps building up over time.
Habits.
And part of that is just accepting that what you are right this second is not necessarily, maybe it's going to be what you are tomorrow. It's not necessarily going to be the same way 30 tomorrows from now. You know, everything takes time.
And you're 100% right about the whole men's issues get overlooked here. And I think women tend to minimize them too. We're like, what do guys have? Their height and their hair and their penis size. Like, and we get really like sassy about it. And we're like, look at all the things we have to deal with compared to them. And it's like, no, like they also have to deal with whether they're fit or not, whether they're overweight or not. Like, there's all these things too.
Got no chin, can't shave the beard off.
Was that?
Said got no chin, can't shave the beard off.
Oh my God.
Right?
That's funny.
All sorts of shit we have to deal with as men.
Yeah.
It's not to say that we have it necessarily worse or easier, but everybody's got their shit.
Everyone's
It doesn't
got their
matter. It
shit.
doesn't matter what you think the power dynamic is. Everybody's got their shit.
I don't like toxic positivity.
That fucking kills me, man.
I'm not a fan of
Life is not chocolates and roses.
it. No.
You know, be positive.
Wake up
about
and
things.
say it's going to be a great day.
No. Be positive about things. Be fucking realistic about things, more importantly. Don't like pretend a bad situation isn't bad just because you're saying it's not bad. Like, no, you all the positive affirmations in the world don't mean shit if you're still drinking yourself to sleep 6 nights a week because you can't deal with the emotional stress of whatever's going on.
Fucking true.
Like, yeah.
Man. Ain't that do you have a vice that you do you have a coping tool that you turn to?
Weed and video games. For sure. I'm a very stereotypical guy.
That is very stereotypical, but I love it.
Weed and video games.
Is the video game thing, do you play a lot?
I go through binges.
Yeah.
That's my thing. I will go for weeks at a time without touching. Any games I play are primarily on Steam, on PC.
Yeah.
So like I'll go for weeks at a time without even opening the Steam app. And then I will go for weeks at a time, dumping every fucking hour that I'm not in bed or at work doing it. It's just, I don't know. I can't, I've been struggling for years to figure it out if there's some sort of specific trigger to it or if it's just, I don't know, is it stress? Is it because I'm bored? Is it what? I can't figure it out. All I know is that eventually I'll be fine. And then one day I'll be like, I'm going to play the fuck out of this game with every single spare minute of free time for the next 3 weeks.
Well, it's probably giving you the little bursts of serotonin that you need. Do you find that you do it when you're like feeling down? Or like maybe trying to escape
Probably.
something?
Yeah, maybe.
So like those little bursts
I'm a
of
bit of a
serotonin.
procrastinator. I think what happens is that I'm a bit of a procrastinator. And so like,
A bit?
I'm a huge procrastinator.
I feel like no one's a bit of a procrastinator. You either are full blown or you're not.
I'm embarrassed at how much of a procrastinator I am. But sometimes if I turn to playing a game to put off doing something else, a lot of the times that won't lead to anything bigger. Maybe it gets a task done afterwards. But I think sometimes that just starts that serotonin that you're talking about. And then sort of trying to delay this one thing just makes it, I just got to play this game. Just got to play this game for the next 3 days.
Right.
Taking a day off work. And I'm just going to play Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And not leaving my apartment. Maybe I'll take the garbage out.
Right. Hyperfocus is
That's about it.
fucking
Yeah,
real.
hyperfocus would be a very
That's-
positive spin on it. That's a good
what
way of putting it.
The hyperfocus thing is because
Yep.
I'm on a journey. I'm just gonna say journey like that every time with getting diagnosed for ADHD, and that's one of the things with ADHD where it's like, no, ADHD people can accomplish things. Are those things the practical things they need to accomplish? Probably not.
I mean,
Can Sarah edit a 2-hour video in a night and really buckle down and get her done? Yeah.
Hell yeah, she
Can I take the garbage out? No.
She can.
I tend to overlook a lot of the minor tasks in my apartment too.
Oh, dude.
My apartment is a bachelor though, which is kind of or studio bachelor. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's kind of a double-edged sword because there's not a lot of space, so it gets messy and cluttered fast. I've always been a cluttered person. I still am to this
Me
day
too.
a cluttered person.
Yeah.
But because there's not much space, it cleans up really fast too.
Right.
So it's sort of forced me to stay on top of keeping the housework done.
Kind of nice.
Excuse me, because it gets out of hand so fast.
It really does.
But again, it also cleans up really fast. So it's never a big
Challenges.
deal.
Challenges. Messy People Club. Dead friend and messy people
Dead
club.
friend and messy people. The other thing on a more visceral level.
Oh yeah.
And I don't. It's not something I ever have to reference very often, so I forget the name.
Oh.
Trichotillomania.
Oh, I know exactly what this
Yeah,
is.
it's so that right there. See how thin
Picking hair out?
all that shit is. That's because I'm a really bad hair puller. Not the fun, sexy hair pulling, but like
And girls
self-destructive
will pull out
hair
their
pulling.
hair.
Yeah, I know,
lot.
and the only reason I don't is because I don't.
You're going to pick things that aren't there.
Started out with eyebrows when I was a teenager.
No way.
Yep.
Is that a stress response?
Probably stress, boredom,
I took my eyebrows and my eyelashes.
a few things. Eyelashes I never got into. For me, it was always the eyebrows. It started when I was about 12,
Oh, that's young.
and lip chewing also.
Oh, I pick at my skin, which is not good for your skin.
But
I feel that though.
So this was the thing that I struggled with for a long time after growing a beard, but I managed to generally keep it under control.
Uh-huh.
And this is one. Okay, so as we'll call it a disorder because that's what it is, I guess. It is on the OCD spectrum, but it is not exactly OCD. It shares a lot of similarities in that it is a compulsive disorder. So that gets me kind of pissed off when people talk about how they're so fucking OCD because their lines have to be straight. Go fuck yourself. You have no idea what you're talking about. I do know people with actual clinically diagnosed OCD that have some very self-destructive.
Yeah.
And like, as a point of principle, it upsets me when people misuse that term, because I've seen firsthand the shit that these people go through as a result of their disorder. And to a very minor extent, I get what it's like to actually be compulsed to do something,
Yeah.
But I had it under control for a long time. And then this was the one, if like there was a big, other than putting on like 25 pounds, because I wasn't leaving the house and smoking weed. After Andrew died, it got really out of hand and I super fucked all the hair follicles up down here. Like this is as long as it'll grow in now. It won't. I've been trying for months.
Oh, God.
The hair's super thin.
Shit.
Yeah, and this also ties in back to body image issues. This is actually something I can't shave the beard off. I look bad without a beard. But like this is something that I'm always self-conscious of. I did it
I
to
never
myself.
even noticed.
And I see pictures sometimes and I realize like, dude,
not
this is
simple.
all in your fucking head.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's obviously, it literally doesn't grow in very long anymore. I obviously did some actual damage, but at the same time, sometimes it's nice to be able to take a step back and realize like, this is actually a you thing. Nobody else is.
No one else will notice those little things about ourselves that we do.
But I still do it. It's I just can't.
Dang.
It's the thing about compulsions. Can't stop.
Can't. Oh my God, I feel that.
I try to when if I have to do it now, I try to focus on areas that are less already damaged.
Do you feel better when you do it?
Oh yeah,
it's like a self-soothing thing.
absolutely.
And stress.
Yep, definitely. So that's what's wrong with me.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
Your trauma is so fascinating.
Yeah,
Your
and
disorder
lip
that you're
chewing.
struggling with is so fascinating. We have 2 more segments, though. I'm so excited for this.
Go nuts! I'm having a blast here.
Okay. I love this segment because I think people bond over the things that piss us off and the things that make us mad. Fuck positivity.
Okay.
Let's get negative. This
Okay.
is the rant segment. I need to rant.
Okay, I'm not much of a ranter. I don't necessarily have a rant prepared, but I was thinking after a recent dating experience, not to constantly go back to that topic. It's difficult for me to even put in the words how much respect I lose. And I hate to say for women, but this is for women.
Clip this out of context.
Yeah. Only because I don't get to experience the female side of this with men. So this is specifically in the context of dating. I have such a fucking axe to grind with women who will use dating apps and all their pictures will be like heavily filtered.
Right.
Right.
You mentioned this before.
Oh my God. Who the fuck do you think you're fooling? I'm going to see you in person. And when I find out that you lied to me about what you look like, I'm not going to have a good first impression. And
You're not
there
gonna
won't
fuck
be
a
second
deer.
date. What?
You're not gonna fuck a deer. Like those deer filters or like
Oh my God. Not even that. those like weird, shitty cartoon filters. Those
The ones that make your eyes bigger.
Those are just an immediate left swipe. I don't even waste a cell of brain power worrying about that shit. That just screams you don't have the emotional maturity of a child, and I'm gonna move on. But like the specifically beauty photo filters that are becoming so goddamn common.
It's so
I
unhealthy.
get it. Use it on your Instagram, whatever. Increase your social media fucking brand.
Do it on
or
stories or something.
Do it on stories and shit.
Yeah.
But like, if you're seriously out there looking for somebody on any sort of romantic level, why would your first impression that you make to them be that you're fucking lying about what you look like?
Yeah,
If
you're
I
setting
got-
yourself up for
man,
disappointment.
If I can put an unfiltered, full body shot on my dating profile so you know exactly what you're signing up for, so can you. It's not that much to ask. Granted.
Fucking
I don't
fair.
have a great-
Ding ding for that.
Ding ding for
I mean,
that.
okay, so Sarah and I brought up filters in our last episode
Okay.
with Sarah, talking about. So I have this kind of new outlook on filters,
Yeah.
which is filters make you look hot. It increases your confidence. You're like, I look hot as fuck. If seeing yourself looking hot as fuck, yeah, go nuts, helps you be confident, just channel that inwards and think of yourself walking around the world in that filter. But does that make sense?
There is so much to be said. There is so much to be said for somebody that has at least a shred of self-confidence.
Just a presence, of like,
Just a
I'm
shred.
hot as shit. I'm hot as shit. Fuck you if you don't think otherwise.
I don't care how hot or not you actually are in real life. Using the filters just screams insecurity.
That's right.
It
You're
really
right.
does.
You're not wrong.
And for me personally, I'm not the king of men. I'm not claiming to speak for anybody else. But for me personally, that is extremely unattractive. I get it. Everybody has their shit. You don't know what keeps me up at night. I don't know what keeps you up at night. I get everybody's got their stuff. But like, just putting out there that you got to use filters, right? I don't want to deal with that.
And it's also really sad for young girls who are growing up thinking that's how they have to look.
I had
or,
a video date. I had a video date a couple of months ago. It was one of the last dating experiences before I just like got rid of the apps altogether. Lovely enough woman, a couple of years older than me. Pictures were really great. Looked cute. We had great dialogue. And then she's like, hey, we eventually traded numbers. And she also had an Android, and instead of FaceTime, Android has some specific video chat app. So she was like, hey, let's do that. Let's like video chat with each other. I said, okay. Yeah, she was like fucking almost terrifying without the filters on.
What?
I actually like,
Oh,
I think I
shit.
may have physically reacted when her
Oh,
face came on
no.
screen. Right? And this isn't like because it's a wide angle lens and the light was unflattering. This was, you took 15 years off your fucking skin
Right.
texture with your filters. And that's just,
Yeah.
I mean, you lied to me. You lied to me about what you look like.
Yeah.
I
that's a
actually
lie.
probably would have still swiped right on her without the filters on. She was not necessarily an unattractive person.
But because you were given this and you got this, yeah.
It was
yeah, it's
straight
expectations.
up lied to my face. No pun intended.
I was texting with a photographer today about this, about things like retouching,
Yeah.
because I'm doing a shoot on Saturday morning, and she kind of gave me this heads up, like, I don't really retouch too much, and I was like, that's cool, but like if I have a zit, I just would like that. If I'm paying for photos, professional photos,
Yeah.
take the zit out. That's just kind of my thing. I'm like,
guess,
just
you
do
know-
the little retouch. There's a Photoshop. I know the Photoshop tool. It's called the Heal tool. Ooh, I wish I could put
Yes.
it over my soul, but I can't.
But
I can only put it over my fucking cystic acne that pops
Oh
up
my
when I have photo shoots, and only then. Thank you, face. But she essentially said, "Oh yeah, like I'll do acne, but like wrinkles and stuff, I don't do." And I was like, respect for
great.
that.
Good for her.
It needs to look like you, and it should look natural and not like a magazine.
Exactly.
You know?
Look, I have no hate towards doing little retouches.
Just be your best line. I get
Whatever.
that.
Yeah, you wanna look good. I respect wanting to look good. I certainly do too.
Yeah.
But there's a pretty fucking wide line in the sand between that and you took 15 years and about 60 pounds off your image with your pictures.
Geneva Dickey, my matchmaker friend, very much so believes in having at least one no makeup photo in
100%.
your dating profile.
I've swiped
as a
right
woman.
on plenty of women that had no makeup photos.
They might be wearing something. Guys don't know what makeup is.
Most guys don't know what makeup is.
Oh, you think you know a lot about makeup?
I know a lot more about makeup than you would expect me to.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, shit.
Just look.
He's found our tricks.
No, man.
Our sorcery.
Most of the close people in my life are women.
Yeah.
So I grew up to a single mother.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen many times all stages of makeup application and preparation. I'm not saying I can do your makeup.
Oh, that'd be a fun live stream.
No. I'm not making any audacious claims like, I could be a makeup artist. Anything like that. I'm just saying, like,
You've seen the process. You've seen.
I'm very familiar with what a non-makeup and makeup face look like, and that's fine. I have personal preference. I have no issue with that.
Never in 1,000 years. Sorry, Geneva. I'm never doing that.
I get it.
Never doing that. Maybe someday. I'm not on that step of my journey yet. Sorry. I feel like I'm mocking. I definitely am mocking.
Mocking inspired white girls everywhere.
I'm mocking them a little
All the
bit.
Kayleys and Ashleys.
Because our journeys are so fucking. There's some people who think like
Those
wearing a
journeys are-
crop top is their journey. We're gonna get to the next segment, which
Yeah,
is
please.
also fairly negative.
It's all right. I'm in
But
it.
it is more specific to you. So, do you have an unpopular opinion? Don't hate me for this, but it's time for an unpopular opinion.
Well, yes, I have. I do. It's not. This is not particularly anything salacious. Just.
You don't believe in COVID vaccines.
Oh my God.
It'd be a great time for a guest to go, COVID's not real. Please.
I recently found out somebody very close in my family is anti-vax. I'm hugely disappointed.
Oh, God.
Like full-on conspiracy, mind control, anti-vax shit. It's really sad. So no, I do not partake in that belief system. My hot take is that Scarlett Johansson is not that pretty. She's not unattractive. Like,
I agree, though.
like, okay, full disclosure.
She's overrated.
She's an attractive woman. If she was like, I'm going to suck your dick tonight, I would not run away.
She's the pumpkin spice latte of hot women.
Yeah, exactly. It's just the way this goes back to like when she first got involved, or when she first really got a Hollywood career. I think going back probably pre, God damn, what was that fucking Bill Murray movie?
Which one?
The one that she was in.
Oh, shit. I don't know her movies that well.
this is
Was
killing
it Marvel? Black Widow?
No. This was like early 2000s. You know, for the record, never actually saw the movie. Got 20 minutes in, and I was like, "This fucking sucks." And I
Was
turned
it a
off.
romance?
Yeah, romantic comedy. of sorts.
Barcelona something?
No. Just type Scarlett Johansson and Bill Murray.
See
It'll be the
here.
first hit.
Lost in Translation.
Lost in Translation.
There it
Thank
is.
you. I really need to heal. I'm handing my film snob card now. I remember. That's the earliest that I remember is about when Lost in Translation came out, and everybody was like, Scarlett Johansson, she's so fucking hot. She's like hottest, prettiest woman in the world. Oh my God. Like, she's an all right actress and she's not ugly. But oh my God, all I'm trying to say is I never understood why people act like she's some sort of sex object.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit. She's
Yeah.
a reasonably attractive woman with pretty okay, although like I'm way more into like Marriage Story Scarlett Johansson than Black Widow Scarlett Johansson. I think she's so hot in Marriage Story because she just plays an average person. Whereas when they're trying to turn her into a sex object in something like Black Widow, not on board.
Right. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
She's not. Yeah. I also I find it so weird judging attractiveness.
I know,
It makes
I
me feel. It makes me feel icky.
This piece of shit does actually feel a little bit bad.
No.
Casting judgment on the looks of others.
No,
but
I
it's
think-
not even judging her for her looks. It's society's insistence on portraying her as some sort of
That's
sex
what
symbol.
it is. That's what it is.
I don't
That's what
get
it is. Yeah, that's what it is. And it's also just the fact that like she's every guy's like number one. Like she's just so popularly like one of the hotter
Yeah, I don't even know.
women.
I don't get it.
Oh, who would be the guy ScarJo? Like Brad Pitt?
Brad Pitt, Zac Efron.
I'm definitely an
Zac Efron.
Anne Hathaway guy.
Oh. See, a lot of people don't like Anne Hathaway because she's a bitch.
Oh, I'd settle her down. In a heartbeat.
I don't mind Anne Hathaway. She was in that movie with Jake Gyllenhaal that was really hot, and I love Jake Gyllenhaal, so I really liked them together in that movie. Love and Other Drugs.
Oh yeah, I never saw that one.
That's a good one, actually.
You know what? A movie that I actually ended up watching, it was a long time ago, and I've only seen it the one time, was Rachel Getting Married. I really liked that movie. Only saw it once. I was
I've
like, this
heard
was
it's
a really
good.
good movie, and I've been meaning to rewatch it, but
Yeah, fuck. You're a big film guy. Well, you work in film
yeah.
and TV and all of that. So,
I'm still there. I mean, there's so many things I haven't seen.
do you
there's some
watch
embarrassing-
movies weekly?
No. It is so rare for me to put on a new piece of media to consume for the first time. Like I don't, if there was one aspect of being younger that I wish I still had, one fire from my youth that I wish I still had, it was desire to seek new media.
Yeah, you're right. You're
I'm not
right.
into finding, I don't want to dedicate the brain power to investing into a new series. I know it's hard for me to get convinced to really take 2 hours of my life to focus on a movie that 90% of the time I don't like anyway. New bands, fucking forget about it. Like I'll put on a random Spotify playlist and maybe 1 out of 20 songs will be like, that sounds interesting. I'll, favorite that and go back to it later.
Can I offer a hot take?
Sure.
This might piss some people off, but it's the end of the episode, so I'll say it. I agree with you
Is it
because
the
I'm
end
the
of the
same
episode
way.
already? What time
It's
is it?
very rare that I watch things now too,
Okay.
due to being busy.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like watching things as an adult. Like if you're in your, I would say 30s, like early 30s, towards, this time that like we're all busy. If you're watching a lot of things, you're probably one of those people who just works and comes home and watches stuff and then goes to work and then comes home. And
Granted,
then
I
some
work
people
and come
who
home and
Watch
play video
TV are
games.
boring.
That's true.
You're probably not someone with side hustles, I think is more what I'm saying. Not because the people themselves might not be boring, but I chalk it up to busyness for me. I'm doing so much that usually when I'm done doing, I want to mindlessly scroll TikTok or mindlessly scroll Reddit or just stare at a wall or stand in a hot shower and cry. Like, actually, it's ASMR for me. That's the only thing that can calm me down these days is listening to people tap on microphones.
I mean,
Is that a hot take? I hope that's not mean. I'm just saying that, like,
a person.
I feel like if you're
a
someone who's
person's
constantly watching
fetishes
seasons,
expand as they're exposed to more hardcore material.
but if you're constantly watching seasons of shows, you must just be somebody who you have that free time.
For me,
and you don't do much outside of your job.
it's true, and there are a lot of people.
It's not a
like
bad thing.
that, and it's not a bad thing.
In fact,
mean,
I envy it sometimes.
it is the reality for a lot of people in the last couple of years.
But I think you're working in your passion field, and I am too. And I mean, it's not perfect. It doesn't make you an instantly happier person. But I think that there's definite advantages to being in a field that makes you excited to go to work every day. I don't know.
Absolutely. I get to do a lot of cool shit in my job.
You sure do.
And I'm very thankful for that. It's a good company to work for. I meet interesting people, do cool stuff. I'm involved with fun projects, and it's a nice way to keep the bills paid. And I've had some bad fucking jobs.
Oh yeah, let's talk about bad jobs.
There have been some jobs.
This is going
that I've
longer,
wanted to
Sarah.
kill
So if you need
myself.
to leave, you can.
No, I'm good.
You sure?
For a few more minutes, yeah.
Okay.
What time do you have to leave, Sarah? I'm sorry. I didn't.
No, it's all good.
You take your time.
We are trying to keep them under 2 hours, but I'm loving this. So let's just keep going.
I didn't even realize how long we were going.
No,
for.
it says 150, but in all fairness, we had 10 minutes of banter at the start.
Exactly.
So it's more like 140 right
in
now.
5 minutes
But that's
of bashing
fine.
a certain
It's just,
local comic.
and I started working on a new feedback survey today just to be like, because the podcast is actually doing worse than it was before,
Oh no.
which is very heartbreaking for me because I'm just like, I'm really trying to improve things and like make it better for people. But like people want shorter episodes, so I'm trying to keep them under 2 hours. But it's fucking hard. These conversations that we have, it's hard to condense it. And a lot of times I go, well, I had a good conversation, so I'm just gonna post it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's kind of podcasting is tough when you've been doing it for as long as I have, and you just go,
Oh look, You've been doing it for a long time.
Trying to experiment, trying to do different things, trying to make it better. But it's also like I can't give you guys something if I don't know what you want. So
you're working on a feedback survey.
Yeah, I'm working on another feedback survey just to be like, what guests do you want more of? What types of guests do you like? Do you like the segments? Do you hate the segments? Should I do new segments? Like, what is it? What do you want from me? Because it's like, at a certain point, it's like, the weekly grind is a lot. And if I'm not getting the payoff I want,
well,
it takes a lot away from my life, even though I love doing it.
I think a lot of people fail to realize exactly how much work something like this.
Oh,
Listen,
people have no sweet clue.
I'm telling, whoever's still listening 2 hours in, the shit takes a lot of time and a lot of work to make.
Yeah.
And the fact that you've been able to do it for as long as you have is very commendable. So good for you, Sarah.
It is. And I also think to people listening, because I love this podcast, but I also am on a journey.
Jesus Christ.
Do we have a title? On a journey? With trying to enjoy my life again. And it's like, for me personally, I'm like, Intoxicated isn't the end all be all for podcasting for me. I have other ideas for podcasts that I like series drops where it's like a chunk of episodes that I drop all together. Yeah. It's not as heavy as it used to be, but I'm trying, people. I'm really trying. This is hard to do.
Well, you're doing great.
Okay. Oh, worst jobs.
Okay. My all-time worst job was as a outbound survey call center worker. Ugh. Yeah. Ugh, all around.
I have to do that too.
Everything about that job was terrible. I will never forget in our very first day, which was just a training day, it was just a few hours sitting in an office being told what the job was. We broke for a little lunch, and then I looked out the window, and there's Johnny running out of the parking lot. He just left. This dude just like, nope, out of here. And he's like hauling ass out of the parking lot to where the bus stop is. Never saw that guy again. And I should have known. I should have known.
Johnny.
Good on you, Johnny. You made the right call because I spent 6 months there and I wanted to kill myself every single day I woke up for work.
Was it Teletech?
No.
Okay, because Nathan McIntosh has a whole joke about quitting Teletech, and it's so funny.
Although
and
that
walking
brings,
out.
I had some friends that have been worked at Teletech. Yeah.
I love the look in your eyes. Is you could put war music over Richard's face, where it's like epic like bombs going off.
1,000-yard stare. Just remembering that smell of fucking hand sanitizer and the sound of ringing phones.
Although they were on point with the hand sanitizer.
Thinking about that job, the smell of that hand sanitizer. I'm 38 years old. I worked that job when I was 20, maybe 19. And like the smell of the hand sanitizer they use in that office is burned into my fucking brain. They still use that sentence, hand sanitizers that you'll find places. If it ends up on my skin, I get like my skin crawls. It is physically revulsive to have any sort of mental association with my time working at that place.
Yeah.
Outbound telemarketing for surveys. And
arguably worse than, say, a customer service role.
No,
because you're bugging people.
Man, I called. It was an auto dialer, so you log in, and it would just pick a random number out of whatever the database was constructed from. This could be customer feedback surveys. You fill out a feedback thing for whatever restaurant. You leave your phone number. That goes into a database, gets sold to a telemarketing firm, who then sells it to other people so they can call you. At least that was the way, like in the very early 2000s. The auto dialer put me through to somebody once. I don't remember. We'll say John Smith. And I was like, "Hello, I'm Richard. I'm calling from insert company name here. Can I speak to John Smith, please?" And this woman was like, "He's dead. Please don't call here again." Click.
I'm grieving.
Yeah. This was like 1 week into the job. And that was the moment that I knew that this shit was not for me. And I was there for 6 more months. I remember like you're as with all call centers, they put metrics on everything: the amount of time you're on calls, your amount of time between disconnects, how much time you're logged into the system, blah 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 blah, your completion rate, your uncompletion rate,
handle time.
I was on a phone call once for 45 minutes.
I've been on
talking
those
to
calls,
a guy about his most recent experience at KFC. He hung up on the last question.
Oh my God.
2 days later, I called in sick with food poisoning. A day after that, I called in sick again with the same food poisoning. And the third day, I said, I fucking quit.
I'm done.
And then I just got a new job. 6 months.
Can I say, I had a survey call me literally the other day. And for the first time ever, I saw the number on the phone. And normally I would ignore it because I know. This time I was just like, they keep calling me. This is annoying. So I'm just going to answer and see if I can dump this person so they can stop calling me.
Yeah.
It was a woman who sounded very nice. Told me what the survey was. Do you have time? And I should have just at that point said, no, I'm not interested in doing the survey. But instead I went, no, I don't have time right now. And then she says, would there be a more convenient time for me to call back? And in my mind, I was just like, don't be nice, Sarah. Don't be nice. I was just like, no. And I just said no.
So
I just said the word no. I just said, and it was so hard for me to say. Like, I was literally like so tense, just being like, no, there isn't.
you're a very kind-hearted person, and it must have been difficult for you to.
But here's the thing, Richard. I'm not though.
You're a pretty kind person.
No. So, end of the episode, whatever. I had my internet cut off, and I'm not so kind when that happens.
That's a very different situation.
Because there's like survival mode,
Yeah.
bitchy Sarah, and then there's like, Sarah just trying to be nice to someone who's doing their job.
Yeah.
But like, I have been very mean to people who I owe money to for no reason other than I fucked up.
Other than your own
I'm
insecurities.
I'm mad at myself. I'm not mad at them.
Yeah.
I'm pissed at myself, but it's coming out.
Classic case of projection.
It's coming
ladies, am I right, fellas?
So like, I feel like that kind of made up for the shittiness that I've done.
Hot little PSA for anybody listening. Do they even still do survey phone calls? I have no idea.
The one that I got was for media usage or radio usage or something.
If you ever want to end up on, first off, if you ever want to end up on the do not call list of anybody that calls you for any reason for solicitation, whether that be service or telemarketing, tell them there's nobody in the household under the age or over the age of 18. They can't do this shit to minors. If they have reason to believe that nobody in the household is legally able to do
nobody?
the call,
Is it just a house full of children?
you could say that there's nobody in the house over the age of 19. It might be 18 or 19. Legal age majority and wherever.
Would I have to like? Oh,
Nope. Just
would
say,
I have to like make my voice different?
if you have the voice of somebody who's obviously an adult, you're an adult friend of one of the residents of the house you're just visiting. There's nobody there over the age of majority in the residence.
I'm 12.
They won't waste their
Was that
time
believable?
calling you.
No.
No. Just whatever.
No, that's
this
that's
person's
interesting. And
sister
then-
or brother, they live here, but you know what?
And then they'll really stop, eh?
And then they'll really stop. I mean, unless you have some shitty agent who just doesn't believe you. and
Blocking
moves on.
calls help too. I guess that kind of does.
And of course, we're talking about legitimate businesses. Obviously, this won't help with anybody obviously trying to scam you. But also, if you say that you or somebody in your family is employed by or otherwise associated with whatever, if it's a survey specifically, whatever the company is that they're calling for, then you disqualify. They're not allowed to survey people who work for the company or who have like their mom works for KFC. Let's say
There's bias.
Exactly.
Bias.
So
It's like why I could never like judge the next roast battle because I'm friends with someone in the roast battle.
yeah, I'd judge it. I'm not friends with all of them. shouldn't say that. I don't even know who's in it.
Oh yeah, I gotta show you the video after this.
Okay,
When we're done.
cool.
I'll show you the video.
Yeah. So if you ever want to get out of a survey phone call, tell them that nobody in the house is over the age of 19.
That's a good tip.
Or that you or somebody else in your family works for whoever the company they're surveying on behalf of is, and that'll get you off the phone. They can't go forward.
I felt so bad saying no to that girl, and I didn't even say I'm sorry after.
So what you do, that's exactly what I mean. You don't position it as you saying no. Yeah, I would love to help, or they'll eventually ask you questions relevant to that. You just
say I don't qualify to be asked these. It's not a matter of want. It's I don't qualify to be
it's
asked
just
these
like
questions.
if somebody's like, we're calling you on behalf of Frito-Lay. We'd like to ask you about what you think about these chips.
I work for Frito-Lay.
You're like, oh, hey, that's cool. That's cool. My mom works for Frito-Lay.
Oh, yeah.
And they'll be like, oh, yeah, we can't. Sorry. We won't
My mom's
buy."
also underage. I don't know.
Very, very young pregnancy.
Oh my gosh, that's wild. Whew, what a ride this was. This was so fun.
Oh, I'm glad you think so. I was kind of, honestly, a little
Nervous?
nervous, yeah. I don't always, I mean, this goes back to the whole solitude thing we spoke at the beginning. Like, I'm very comfortable. I forget sometimes how easy it can be to engage in a long conversation with somebody who's also a good interviewer, for the record.
Oh,
But
that's
who's
nice
good
of
at
you,
talking, because I'm also very happy sitting in a group of people and not talking, which I do a lot,
Me too.
right? So,
You know what? Listening is a skill that is underappreciated.
oh, I agree.
The ability to listen, because we were talking off mic about, people who drain us, people who are a little too chatty
Yeah.
and go on and on and on. Like, just the ability to know when the fuck to stop. Because I think I'm also chatty, but I know when to stop.
Yeah.
Like, I
mean,
know when to shut the fuck up.
You're chatty when the situation calls for it. You're somebody that, I mean, we haven't spent like an ass load of time together, but certainly a lot. And I don't think there's ever been a point where I've been like, God, I wish Sarah would shut the fuck up.
Oh, thank God.
And believe me, I've been around plenty of people where all I'm thinking is, I wish you would shut the fuck up.
Because I want the words I'm saying to mean things, not unnecessary words.
Yeah,
I think that's what it is. I think it's podcasting has taught me that, like,
oh,
quality
boy.
over quantity.
Have I got a good tale for you after the podcast? Couldn't get away with saying it on air, but
Oh, sweet.
don't forget, it's just the topic of people talking too much.
Oh, no, I love this. So thanks so much for this. Was awesome.
Anything else you want to bring up before we go?
Is there anything else that you would want to bring up? Anything we didn't cover that you think might be compelling?
No, I don't know. I'm pretty drunk now.
I mean, this was an awesome conversation, and I think that this is a
good.
good episode to do because I think there's a lot of people in the comedy scene here who know you or know of you, but don't know you this well. So I think that we've uncovered.
I do
some
generally
interesting
try
things
to
about
keep
you.
to myself at those things. So,
Yeah. So this is like
Pleased
Mystery
to be
Man
here.
Richard episode.
That's the
I'd
title.
love to come back.
Mystery. No, it's Lady Killer Casanova.
Right.
No, Mike, please do not use that. Oh my God. I keep my dating life and my private life very separate. Or personal life.
Yes, yes, you do. But it was awesome to have you on.
Good. I'm
and
very happy to be here. I had a wonderful time.
can people find you on? I know we talked about hating social media, but can people
no.
follow you on Instagram?
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram. Oh, that's right. I don't use Richard Allen on Facebook, but you can follow me on Instagram at @SeñorDingDong_. I made a mistake once. It used to be just Senor Ding Dong, which was the greatest handle on Instagram, in my opinion. And then I changed it to try and look more professional for something. And then I decided, no, fuck this. I want my old name back.
Because
I couldn't get it.
Changing Senor Ding Dong slightly will make it more professional.
No, it was something completely different, entirely different.
Oh, really?
And I was like, this fucking sucks. I want my old name back. It was funny. And then I couldn't get it without the underscore.
Oh, I
was
hate
like,
that. Our
motherfucker.
Intoxicated
Did
Twitter.
it to myself.
Intoxicated Podcast is taken, and it's also too long. So the Twitter handle for Intoxicated is like _toxicated, which I fucking hate so much. It's so dumb.
Yeah,
so stupid.
I hate having to put an underscore thing. I pride myself on not having it in none of my online handles. I don't have to do this shit with any of my online stuff except for Instagram.
Fucking
Because
Instagram.
I fucked it up.
Maybe one day I'll get it back.
If anybody wants to follow me on Instagram, yeah, that's cool. Look,
You post funny memes and shit.
all I redo is all I
do
do
good
is
memes on there.
repost memes. That's it.
No, I love that
post
though.
about
That's
myself.
what the world needs.
With humor. If it's not funny, I'm not going to post it.
The highest interaction we've had on Intoxicated Instagram recently was a meme I made.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Which one?
It's the one. It's of Squid Game, and it's like
I haven't watched
the
that
idea
yet.
for a podcast, and then it's actually
old man
doing
thing,
a
right?
podcast.
That
And
old
it's just
man
like,
thing. Yeah.
I need to post that in like a podcasting Reddit or something because I think people would appreciate it.
Yeah, you should.
But yeah, thanks for coming on so much. And actually, hold up your
I'll have it
skeleton.
back anytime.
Can you hold up the skeleton and ring the bell? Or can you ring the bell with the skeleton?
Oh, can I?
Thanks, Richard, for coming on. We did it.
Night. Happy Halloween.
Sarah needs to go the fuck to bed.
Thank you for listening to the Intoxicated Podcast. If you enjoyed this week's episode, make sure you subscribe on whatever podcast app you use and leave a rating or review on Apple Podcasts. You can also give us a follow on Facebook and Instagram at Intoxicated Podcast and check out our video episodes on the Intoxicated YouTube channel. Until next week, feel hard and talk hard. Intoxicated Podcast is hosted and produced by Sarah McClellan, co-produced by Sarah Nicole, and brought to you by the messiness of life.